Hi, this is Dave from Heroes Needed, just one of the many fine shows you can find on the Nod Network. Visit us on nerdod.com or subscribe on iTunes, Google Podcasts, or Spotify, or wherever else you get your favorite podcasts.
Dave, say something funny.
Oh God. What's funny? What do the kids think are funny these days? Isn't that TikTok fun?
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. This is the Nerd OD podcast. And you've got Dave.
And Dan.
And I'm Reg.
Hey, and we are here just to talk at you for a solid hour or so.
Yeah, talk at each other like you're the fourth wheel sitting in a room just listening in, waiting for a moment to come in with something interesting.
A moment that will never come?
Never shut up.
Yep. A moment that will never come. You will sit there waiting to add your bit, and it's just not going to happen.
Car stereo.
But if you do want to join in, please visit us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. How are we doing, Dan and Reg? We good?
Not bad. I got my shiny toy back today. That was nice to get. So now Nerd OD can get back up and rolling.
I see.
I love that no one knew that it went away.
Well, did I mention it? Did I mention my? Oh yeah, because I mentioned that I was very angry last week, Fred. So I did mention.
Oh yeah, me and you talked about how stupid the cost was, didn't we?
Oh yeah, no, that was privately.
Right.
We talked about what the bill should have been and what it turned out to be, which was zero, which was nice.
Hey, what are computer repairs like in the time of coronavirus?
It was 6 days, so it was worth getting there because Apple. If anyone's ever taken anything to Apple, you do have to book in advance, and there's only appointments available within the next 7 days, and they fill up pretty quickly. So you have to be pretty sharp, and especially at the moment when it's probably running at 50% to grab an appointment. So it took about 5 days to get an appointment. In the meantime, I was sat using my Mac with a dodgy screen and then a monitor to mirror. Yeah. So it was all right until it then went in, and I had to queue up. I got given a face mask because I said I didn't have one because they were giving out free ones, so I got one of theirs.
Nice.
It doesn't have the Apple logo on though, unfortunately.
That's a shame.
Nothing
That's a
like
shame.
That. No. Disappointing. Yeah, but picking up was easier. Picking up was a massive queue. And I went, do I need to check in to collect? And he went, what's going on? Oh, I'm collecting a Mac that's been fixed. All right, just follow me. And he took me straight in, and then there you go. Check it out. Yep, great. Well done. Yeah, it's good.
I ask because I'm interested, but also selfishly because my computer has developed an issue, and it's within a repair program, but only until November, so I need to go and get it sorted out.
Well, it's not too bad.
Oh, good.
And the stores that are closer to you are open longer as well, aren't they?
Yeah, that's good.
But yeah, now I can get to I can edit Nerd OD&D. So sorry we didn't release an episode on Friday. That was entirely my fault, or entirely Apple's fault.
The crowd hates you. Boo.
Given everyone a week to get caught up on our fabulous exploits.
Well, that's it. You've got 5 hours of wonderful mystical content there. Why not? Why not just re-listen? I was thinking at some point, it might be fun doing a wrap-up episode, but I don't know whether I can be bothered to sit and edit it all.
Oh, like editing all the episodes into like one best of episode.
Yeah, exactly. Just cut out all the guff and just have maybe the 12 episodes condensed into like 3 hours or something like that. I could probably do that because there is a lot of and not to put people at home off from listening because I edit a lot of it out, but a lot of all right, I fire my lightning bolt at them. Okay, right, let me just roll this. Right, okay, there's a 7 and I need to add a 3 to it, and hold on a second, just gotta go and get my 17-sided dice.
Yeah, there's definitely a bit of thinking out loud, I guess, on our show.
Yes, but I do edit most of that out, so people at home don't experience it.
That's good.
Yeah.
Sadly, we do in real life. Can you edit that out, Dan? That'd be great.
Can I edit real life?
Yes, please.
If only. That sounds like a Black Mirror episode.
Well, I think that the idea is if you if that was something that you had the inclination, that was something that'd be really, really cool. But again, having done a tickle of audio editing in the past, I know that that's a pain in the ass job. So I think that's a do when you want to create an omnibus, not
the bit that I think about. I'm like, it's not that difficult to edit a podcast, but it does take as long as the episode lasts.
That's it.
So you're always, we generally have about 90 minutes is our D&D sessions. So to go through that and put in audio at the right places, put the music in, background, cut out any of the ums and rolls and all that sort of stuff. It does take a long time. I wish it was quicker, but unfortunately.
Yeah, it's hard after coming from this podcast where you don't really need to do anything. Just
the only downside is it's really annoying trying to pick a bit to put at the beginning of the episode, especially because I don't pay attention when we're recording. If I did pay attention, I would write down, at 12 minutes and 43 seconds, Dave said something funny about this. And I just know to cut it out. I've got to listen to it up to the point when I hear something that was funny enough to put at the beginning of the episode.
It's nice how you don't pay attention to us when we're talking.
No, last week I used a clip from minute 64, Reg, so, that took a while.
One of those episodes.
Wow.
No, it was interesting because I think about when I've edited podcasts, such great shows as Whiskey and Words or Heroes Needed on the Nod Network. And I'd never added anything superfluous. I didn't add any extra music, any extra sound effects, because it was all just very much talky and that's it.
Yeah.
So the idea of the work, and again, not to make this the How Great is Dan Salmon show, but
that's
the work
not
that
what I'm after, but carry on.
No, not at all. But the work that you put in is significant on the D&D podcast because it is there's a lot of sort of incidental music and the sound effects and the stuff that you add to it to give it that a kind of a richness, which is different because we're not having a conversational interviewee podcast. It is a story, and that work is excellent work, and I appreciate what you do. And I know that all the Nerd OD listeners also appreciate what you do.
Absolutely.
And if they don't, they damn well should. Say it in the comments.
Imagine that if the only comments we start getting are just like, don't really like Dan's editing style. Can we go back to getting no comments on each pod? That'd be great.
Only positive comments. That's fair to ask for, right? Only positive feedback. Very
much so. Unlike what Microsoft got when they did the Halo Infinite.
Segway
of justice. Although segueing back to something else. Just
temporary segue.
Temporary segue. We were looking, me and Dave were talking before part about watching Netflix and loads of stuff on Netflix. And I come across while I was flicking through Netflix last night. I can't remember what the film was, but it looks like a cheesy 80s thing. And it was one man's journey to find his friends. Not just for the love, but for the justice.
Nice.
And I came off it, but I was howling that much to myself that I was like, "Fuck! Why didn't I take a photo of that and just send it, Dave?" Because that would have just been amazing. That is Draco Justice's tagline. If he ever has a movie, that is it. It's just phenomenal.
Just for the love, for the justice.
Just for the love, for the justice. Which Bungie, 343 Studios didn't give Halo Infinite on their latest trailer that they were showing off. So Microsoft revealed their game showcase this time about a week ago, just after our last pod. And there was loads of new games which have been released, not released, but shown off. One of which I'm very excited about was Fable. And it's weird because Playground Studios, the guys who did Forza and stuff, they've now been given the reins.
Is that who it is?
Fable.
I meant to look into this, which is disappointing because it's Peter Molyneux's baby, one of his babies. That was his,
Lionhead's no more, mate. Lionhead Studios.
I know, absolutely, but they cancelled the last Fable game that was 90% finished, and then the studio's shutting down, and now a few years later they're going, go on, let's do it again, but let's let someone else do it. You had no faith in this property like 4 years ago, but now all of a sudden.
It's because they need something. They don't really have many world-class exclusives away from they have the first-person shooter, which apparently is the the be all and end all Halo. You've got the cover shooter, like the third person one, which is obviously Gears of War. They've got a racing one, Forza, and then they're like, we need just like an RPG or a platformer or something we can throw out there. So like, what have we had? What can we bring back again? Okay, let's do Fable. And I'm glad, because Fable is a great series, and if they can keep the same comedy going through it and great storyline, superb. And it's a nice RPG in the fact that it's not a huge grind.
It was nice, wasn't it? I think the way I would describe the Fable 2 was my personal favorite. And I think the way I would describe it was a nice game to play. Like, it never felt like you play a game like I'm thinking about other kind of open world games like Skyrim, right? Skyrim is bleak. Like, you play Skyrim and in the opening 3 minutes you're about to get your head chopped off, and then a dragon comes and burns people alive. Like, it's heavy. Yet you play Fable, and you're in a fantasy world, and you got swords, and you got all that kind of stuff, but it just seems nice. It just seems quite, like, warm and fluffy. One thing I did hear about this, and this is an unsubstantiated rumor, so I'm just putting it out there as something I heard, is that it might be an MMO.
No. So they've come out now
debunked
and said, it's been debunked now. They're like, it's not. It's us. We are doing it the way it should be done.
Good.
Thank Christ. Because I read that, and the first thing I thought was, we already have World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft wins at fantasy MMO. There's no point competing with that. Elder Scrolls Online tried it, didn't really work. Other games just don't. Like, World of Warcraft's got that nailed down. Leave it alone. And make it a single player standalone game. If they have, I'm very, very happy with that.
And also, so you know how they usually put up classifications and trying to get all the stuff past the ratings boards, and this is how spoilers happen for certain games that are coming out.
Yeah.
If you just mentioned World of Warcraft, the latest expansion, Shadowlands, has just been rated for the Xbox Series X and PC. So there's a very, very high chance that WoW is coming to the Xbox Series X, because they, at the moment, up until I think next gen, when Xbox finally get the grubby little mitts on Final Fantasy 14, Realm Reborn, they haven't got like an amazing RPG, MMO RPG. They've got Phantasy Star Online 2, which they've just said, hey, this is coming Western, which is going to be awesome, because Phantasy Star Online was a great title on the Dreamcast. So, it'd be nice to try and pick that back up again. But like Dave just said, like, I adore Final Fantasy 14 Realm Reborn. I absolutely hammered that on my laptop. Absolutely loved it. But I kept on wanting that WoW fix. There was just something that, no matter how amazing Final Fantasy 14 is, you just can't beat the OG. Like, literally, World of Warcraft has got its hooks in that MMO title so hard. Like, they said, no one will be able to take it away from them. No. It's so good. I mean, like, now I think we were talking about this last week, weren't we, and the week before, like, about how I'm potentially getting a new laptop next month, and I was just like, oh, this means I can play WoW again. And that was the first thing that came into my head. I'm like, I don't need to. I really don't need to. Like, I don't have time to play like a 3-hour story campaign game. I know. It's like, I don't know why I'm thinking, I could play WoW. That's awesome.
Do you know what? That's the crazy thing about it is that I know I have never actually. Well, no, I played about an hour. I've never actually played World of Warcraft as a genuine, like, repeat player. I think I tried it once, and it was fun, but I didn't like allow myself to get into it, because at the time I was young and single with no children, and I had a very addictive personality with the game. And if I was going to play it, I was going to play it. And I didn't get into World of Warcraft for that very reason, because I didn't trust myself to not just pour 12 hours a day into it. But
that's the thing. The sad thing is, when I looked at my main character, if you do like the /play, it tells you your time in like real world time, like how many days and like minutes and hours you played on it. And it came up to something like, you've been playing for 70 days. And like 60 days, 24 hours or 23 hours or something. I was like, that's quite a lot of time. I wonder how many hours that is. Let's not check that. No. Because I'm just like, that's not good.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, check Ash's Animal Crossing in a couple of months and see what that says.
Mate, the crazy thing about Animal Crossing is it absolutely annihilates the battery on the Switch for some reason. Really? And like, even though, you can dock it and play it on the TV, it runs out of battery after about 3 hours or something of Ash playing it, and she's like, right, okay, I'll stick that back in the thing and charge it, and then we'll watch something together still, and then when it's charged again, she'll just sort of like, just gonna quickly go and grab this. But
well, it's
very addictive because she's.
That's a nice little segue there, because speaking of World of Warcraft and portable gaming, one thing I have rediscovered, and I think I rediscovered it because I was watching an Overwatch League game, and of course that's Blizzard, and there was an ad for Hearthstone, which I played quite a bit on my phone when it first came out, and then I kind of just didn't for ages. And in typical Blizzard fashion, there have been about 35 expansions and add-ons and bits for it since then. So I really don't understand the game anymore. It's gotten very complicated. But I picked that back up the last couple of days, and it's
really fun, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun just to play on my phone. Like I've never played it on the PC. I never played it on a desktop. I've only ever played it on my phone. But it's so much fun to play, and I'd forgotten just how rich sort of the World of Warcraft universe was. How much storytelling there had been in that. To the point where I was playing Overwatch, and one of my favorite maps is a map called Blizzard World, which is
it's awesome.
I know it's a fictional Blizzard-based theme park, really? And it's excellent. And I'm playing this game, and I'm playing on this map, and I'm thinking to myself, at what point are Blizzard actually going to build this place? Because they've got enough. World of Warcraft, Overwatch, StarCraft, everything they've got. They've got enough to build a pretty decent sized theme park with themed areas and everything. So I wonder, how much money do they have to make before that becomes an actual option to make it real?
And that's the thing, because if you go onto into WoW, for example's sake, there's that many areas and different landscapes to go through that you've got the theming for the lands already. Like StarCraft and stuff as well, you've got the alien planets, that sort of stuff. You've got the rides that automatically fling to mind. Hearthstone is based in a fucking pub, so you've already got the restaurants and the pubs that you can actually place in this place. All it is just where would you locate it? Because you can't have it in America because it's just so.
Oh, Korea, mate. It's Korea, surely.
But is the weather good in Korea? Is it good enough to do a theme park?
There are theme parks in Korea. I mean, there's theme parks in the UK if you're worried about weather, I think.
Yeah, but then we don't really deal with it very well, do we? And most of the rides shut down. There's a little bit of rain, and
that's true.
It's raining quickly.
Yeah,
shut everything.
Well, it's a similar climate to Japan, and people go to Japan especially to go to Disney World or to go to Universal or whatever.
Right, sound well. Let's make it happen.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll get the Kickstarter campaign going.
Oh, don't get me started on Kickstarter. So, Dan.
Oh, jeez.
You'll appreciate this. We'll get back to Halo Infinite.
We'll get back to all of our segues that we sort of passed about for.
So Dave, you may not be aware, but I backed Shenmue 3. Right.
Shenmue 3
I don't think you mentioned this. I don't think you mentioned this, Reg, but carry on.
So I backed this, and one of my things was a T-shirt that I would have, an exclusive backers T-shirt. And I was like, ooh, if there's one thing I like, it's a T-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
If it's two things I like, it's definitely Shenmue. That is 100% in there as something I really like. So I was like, two birds, one stone. I'm all over it. I got an email through the beginning of June to be like, hey, Reg, guess what? Your T-shirt has left the facility and it's on its way. I was like, oh my God, it's actually happening. I'm going to get something. This is going to be incredible.
Yeah.
That was on the 7th of June. I got that email to say, hey, this is happening. I was like, right, cool. It then left LA. It then moved to Las Vegas, LA. Then it went back to California. That was on the 18th. And then it stayed in California just shy of 3 weeks. And then they were like, oh, we've got it. It's going to be transferred to Gatwick. So it went, no, Heathrow, sorry. So it went to Heathrow in London. And I was like, oh, so a text down going, it's in the UK. It's in the UK. Very excited.
I can imagine, yeah.
And then it all started going wrong again because then it went back to America. And it has now in the process. So it was in here on the 23rd of June, right? It landed in the UK. And then on the 28th of June, it went back to America.
Oh, jeez.
It's then gone from California to Las Vegas to California to LA. Then the funny thing is, on the 14th of July, it came back to London. And I was like, oh, it's in Liverpool. It's
making
there.
progress.
And then I got the booper on my phone to be like a notification about your T-shirt, and I was like, oh, it's going to be outside. It's back in California.
But why? It doesn't make any sense.
The weirdest thing is, there's someone in Wrexham, apparently on the Shenmue pages, who's backed it as well, and he has his T-shirt.
Have you got your T-shirt, Reg? Because you're quite close to Wrexham, aren't you?
I'm very close to Wrexham, which is why I'm upset with the fact that he's got his, because they'd have to drive past my house to get to his house.
It's going to be Wales Comic Con 2021. You're going to see a man walking around in his Shenmue T-shirt, and you still won't even have yours. And then we will mug him.
You have to take it off him. That's the only option.
Like everybody in February had their illustrations, signed illustrations, and normal illustrations, and I haven't had anything yet. I've had nothing from them, absolutely nothing from them. And the sad thing is, Shenmue 3 didn't sell good enough, I think, to warrant a publisher going, you know what, we'll definitely pick up 4. Don't worry about it, guys. So I think it's going to go back to Kickstarter, and then I think I'm going to have this issue again of. They treated me like shit all the way through Shenmue 3 Kickstarter. But it is Shenmue 4, so we will need to back it.
Are they going to make a 4, though? Were you not a bit underwhelmed by waiting that long for Shenmue 3 and what you actually got? Or would you happily back a 4th?
I really want to play a 4th.
It depends on how far Ash leaves the living room. It depends on how much I will back Shenmue 4. I really enjoyed Shenmue 3. Okay. I really did enjoy it. It was not everything I wanted and more.
Or it was more than a sexual experience.
It was definitely more than a sexual experience.
Thanks for that, Ash. That's a picture. Like, can't unsee that now.
It was nice to have. It was a Fable. It was really nice to have the game and play it through. Like, we know it's a 5-part series. We've been told that from the start, so we know for a fact that this wasn't going to end it. It was just going to carry on the story. So I did buy another TV just to play it. So I knew it was going to be a continuation. I knew it was going to leave on a big cliffhanger. I was gutted with the ending because I think they must have gone, oh, we've run out of the backer money now. Let's just end it.
Oh, it makes me sad.
So that was a little bit upsetting. But apart from that, I genuinely loved the title. I thought it was a really, really nice title. But I hate the fact that they went for all our physicals, like bonuses and goodies. We're going to pass it off to a different company, like YSNet. We're not going to deal with any of that, and the publisher's not. We're going to pass it over to this fan gamer. And the bell should have started ringing before I backed it, because people were like, "Oh, not a fan gamer." I backed like whatever game it was, like back in 2007, and I never got anything from them, not even the game. And I'm like, oh.
That is the thing that gets me with companies like that and Kickstarter in general. Like, I find that you either it works out and it's a great thing and you're really happy, or there's horror stories. And I feel like it's shitty when people don't get the thing that they were excited about and the thing that they were waiting to get a piece of, because it means a lot to that person. That T-shirt could well be someone's major thing for themselves because they love that series so much.
It really is. Like, now that she's away, it's like £1,000 worth of goodies and bonuses that I've been like waiting for that I genuinely haven't got. And when that could have gone towards, the wedding, so she could have had like the nicer flowers, or she could have had something she really wanted, and I said I've got no money, it's because I kickstarted that for that much. But
at some point,
that's just insane.
It becomes fraud, though, Reg.
but the thing is, I've got my game. And that's the thing that I'm like, you know what? It hurts because I don't have the stuff like the art book, and they're like, hey, here's a digital version of the art book. I'm like, I don't really want that. They said due to COVID reasons, things have been delayed. So here's a digital art book instead of your physical one, but your physical one is still coming. So I'm like, oh, well, I've got the art anyway now, so I can use them as screensavers. And I send them straight away to you on your emails, Dan, to be like, hey, now you've got them too.
Right.
And the same with the soundtrack and stuff, which is great, but I didn't back that. I backed physical stuff, and it annoys me when people are getting it, and people are getting it in like either the next town away from me, and they had it 2 months ago, and I'm like, how come you got it? And yet they're like, oh, hang on a minute, he definitely didn't do it. When the second that pledge went live, I put my money in.
Yeah, there's a degree of fairness, which I think these companies and anything that goes through Kickstarter. I did my I was going to say colleagues. That's not fair. We were not colleagues. We were friends. And we did a film years ago. And we did a Kickstarter. Or I think it was Kickstarter, or was it Indiegogo? One of those anyway, crowdfunding. And we offered physical rewards to people who gave us money. And we didn't raise Shenmue 3 money, but we raised a little bit and we used it wisely. But we made sure that we did make sure that everyone who was supposed to get something physical from us, and it was all just like, props and souvenir stuff and all that kind of thing. We made sure that everyone got the things they'd paid for, because nothing breeds distrust than like, oh, you meant to get something simple like a t-shirt and they can't be bothered to send it to you. That's shitty. I mean, yours is weird though, because like they have tried to send it, but it just keeps not. It just doesn't exist.
It's ridiculous. It's been in the UK twice. I'm like, why aren't I getting it? It's literally been into Liverpool. It's travelled all that way and gone, nah, let's just tease them a little bit longer. I'm like, why? Why is this happening?
Because they've heard the podcast, right?
But then they know how much I love Shenmue. And I've never badmouthed them until...
It mattered too much. It mattered too much.
We need to test this guy. Let's push this guy to his limits.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can put him through all this and see if he still wants Shenmue 4.
The sad thing is, I just want it to be completed. And even if it doesn't end up being an actual game and it's just like, a visual novel, or if it's a manga or an anime or a comic or a graphic novel or whatever, I just really want to know.
Yeah.
It's like when we were talking about The Last of Us 2 and you were saying like you play the game for the story. It's that, because we're always fully aware like the combat in the Shenmue games is never great. The voice acting is part of the reason we do it, because it's just so bad it's great. But it's the story that hooked me in and was like, yes, I love this. Like, I love just wailing away the hours and just, plodding through at my own pace and just enjoying everything around it. But it's the story I want to know more of now. And like, you've got me now. Like, I need to know how this finishes. I'm waiting 20 odd years to basically get a 2-hour increase in the story was a bit of a wow. But I'm into it, and I still want 4, and I still want 5, and that's it. I'm content as long as we make it to 5 in any variety. I'll die a happy man. Unlike the Halo fan base, am I right, guys?
Yeah, let's get back to
that. So, as I was saying at the beginning of this podcast half an hour ago. Microsoft had their next gen. Hey, here's all the fancy stuff that's coming out, and they showed off a half-hour gameplay footage of Halo Infinite after showing like the little intro, like teaser trailer, which the teaser trailer looked really cool, and I was like, ooh, like I'm into this. And then they showed Halo, the gameplay footage, and this is going to sound really bad. I know it is. But it's genuinely just Halo. They didn't show off any new bad guys. They didn't show off any new, I think they showed off one new weapon potentially, and it genuinely looked and felt as though it was Halo 1.
Yeah.
And when I say it looked like it was Halo 1, have you seen the screenshots?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Well, I mean, why? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like, they know they can bank on that. They know that it'll be one of the biggest selling games they ever release.
But it's not about how it plays. It's about how it looks.
How it looks. I mean, they've had to come out and be like, it was just a work in progress build. Honestly, it's fine. Like, it's going to look so much more polished than this. Like, Is it though? Is it really going to look like that? Like when people were screenshotting it and then zooming in, and the faces of some of the grunts were genuinely looked as though they came from the Xbox, like not the 360, the Xbox. I'm like, wow, that's poor. Like Halo's always looked decent on each format. You're like, yeah, that looks really nice.
Yeah.
But this genuinely, when you just watch the gameplay footage, you're like, yeah, this looks like Halo 1. It doesn't look great in the slightest.
Crazy.
So it's insane. But then they show you the FMV, like the cutscene, and you're like, wow, that looks nice. So I don't understand how.
Isn't it? Well, that's the crazy thing with cutscenes, isn't it? Cutscenes are CGI films. That's all they are. Like they're not rendered in the game engine, are they? They're films they've put together.
It depends what you're playing. A lot of games do now. It's seamless, like the Last of Us. Perfect example. There is no point during that game that you think, oh, I'm watching a cutscene now rather than in-game engine, because it is just absolutely seamless.
Really.
The same with same with Mass Effect though. Mass Effect, like their cutscenes were literally in-game footage, and the amount of times I just sat off with like the pad down watching it, and then all of a sudden you'd have to move because you're on the suicide mission and you didn't realise it. I'm like, oh shit! Go! I've not got
God of War
time.
the same. There's loads like that. They don't tend to do that CG anymore. You don't get the loading screen either. That sort of second of black screen, do you? Either before the video plays or anything like that either. Then.
With the only downside to that, I mean, it's good in a way because, like, obviously, it's nice that there's no falsifications for the trailers and stuff, and how they want to make everything look beautiful is fantastic. But you'll never have the, oh my god, they just do that so well, like the Square Enix on the PlayStation 1 days, where you're just watching, like, the Final Fantasy 7, all the Final Fantasy 8, my favorite entry. And the intro to that was just phenomenal. And then you look at the actual game, and you're like, what? It's like, yeah, you fooled me again, Square. But it's just, like they were the masters.
Well, is Final Fantasy VII Remake, does that have FMV cutscenes?
No, that's just in-game engine.
It is still in-game. So they've got to the point where they're like, because they were always the king of that, really, weren't they?
Yeah, I was going to say, they were phenomenal. I mean, even to the stage where people were like, here's money, go make the spirits within. And then they were like, we're really sorry, don't do that again. But if you want to make another CGI film, just do another Final Fantasy VII for us. And then he did Advent Children, which is one of the greatest CGI films of all time.
Advent Children. Now, remind me, wasn't that like 2007 or something crazy? It was a hell of a long time ago, wasn't it?
Yes.
I remember seeing it and thinking, this is incredible. So how the hell were they making films like that long ago that still in my head seem amazing, and yet I can't think of anything, I can't remember anything about it. I remember that I really thought it was the most amazing thing.
It's weird. And the weirdest thing is, like, I love the Japanese version. It's the best version of Advent Children, only because the English version, Red 13, Scottish, and it's just weird having this really angry, like, tiger lion thing. It's just a Scottish dude with the worst fake Scottish accent, like really forced, put on Scottish accent. Like, no, you don't be that thing. Just speak in Japanese. It sounds so much better. But I adore that film. Like, Dan got me the Japanese version of it because I love it so much, and it's so good, so good. But again, like Blizzard are the same. Blizzard do unbelievably good cutscenes. Like their trailers for the latest expansions and everything that come out. Just like I long for them to do a CGI film because they would smash it out of the park. Like even the StarCraft ones are amazing. So like it just makes me really want to play the game, and then I'm playing it. I'm like, I'm really shit at RTSs, but their cutscenes are damn good.
Yeah, but not a patch on Red Alert.
Definitely not a patch on Red Alert. I mean, the graphics on that are phenomenal. It almost looks lifelike.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah. So that was Halo Infinite. They did. they did show off a load of other cool things also. They're doing another Forza Motorsport. So they haven't said this is Forza Motorsport like 5 or 6. It looks like it's just going to be a complete new one. So they're just calling it Forza Motorsport, and it looks, again, as we're talking about how things look, it just looked stunning. I genuinely thought it was a proper camera going through a pit lane, and it wasn't. It was genuinely just all CGI. And it was like, this is
the driving games always do look amazing. It's the easiest thing to make look.
It's people,
realistic.
isn't it? You can't animating people is the hard thing.
Yeah, but that looked, because they got the helmets and stuff on. Obviously, it looked really easy, but everything looked just stunning on it, and I was like, wow, that looks cool. And then there's a game that was starting getting shown, and the music sounded really familiar, and I was like, I know this. And then the more and more people started popping up on this video, I was like, so they're releasing Tetris Effect for Xbox X Series X. And I don't get why, because the whole point in Tetris Effect is the VR. And they've come out and said, yeah, it's not going to be in VR. And it's like, even like, you've got it on the PC anyway, so you don't really need that. That's fine. It's on the Epic Games Store already. It's on the Quest. It's on the PS4. But what we're going to do is do a flat screen multiplayer version, which you guys will get first. It's like, oh, like I completed the journey mode in it last night, and I absolutely adored it. Like I adore Tetris Effect. If you're just having like a really shit day, it's such an amazing game. Just put on, chill out, and just indulge in the tunage. But it works because of all the reactions in VR and stuff. Since you're not doing that, you might as well just go out and play Tetris elsewhere. It seems weird how that was a big announcement. Makes no sense.
Yeah, I don't really understand the idea of more Tetris games just in general. Like,
it's Tetris,
yeah. In my head, like you kind of nailed Tetris back in like the mid '90s. Like, I appreciate you can add VR versions and you can do that kind of stuff, but like Tetris is Tetris, right? Like, I don't see how much you can necessarily change it.
But they have done a lot, like even with Tetris, that one on the Switch, the Battle Royale one.
Yeah, 99.
Supposed to be great. Yeah.
I still don't understand the idea of a Battle Royale Tetris game. Like, just as a concept, that sounds
most
nuts.
People didn't, and then it came out and people played it and were like, this is brilliant. To the point where most people, like, the instructions apparently didn't make much clear about what you have to do, so people really didn't know. And then as people started to play it, they worked out what everything meant and how you did it. But it's supposed to be very, very good and playable.
Fair enough. Yeah. I haven't got my finger on the pulse. What can I say?
It is really nice. I do highly recommend taking full advantage of the Oculus Store refund if you don't think it's worth it. But it is a really nice game to just chill out and play, because the music's in it's awesome, and the way that it goes with the actual dropping of the lines and the shapes and everything, it works on so many levels. It's lovely, but I couldn't imagine playing it flat screen. It just doesn't. There's no appeal to it there. You might as well, like you said, just pick up your Game Boy and play Tetris. It's just bizarre, very bizarre. But hey ho.
So, was there anything positive that came out of the Xbox presentation? Because I've not heard of anything.
Yeah, so the Xbox are finally going to get a Dragon's Quest game.
Okay, and already
an actual full blown. Yeah, it's not already released one. It's the Dragon Quest 11.
Yeah,
but that title is just effing glorious. So they should be really content and satisfied. They're finally going to get an amazing RPG. It's coming out on their platform, and with it being a definitive edition as well, it's got really loads of nice little add-ons and stuff for it, like in game, which the other platforms have been getting in drips and drabs coming through, all free bits that have been added on. But this is all just wrapped up in one neat little bundle, which is cool, and that's coming out this year, so the 4th of December.
Nice.
That's coming out, and that looks really nice.
It is crazy that do you remember when the original Xbox came out and they really wanted to have a JRPG on it, and what was that one that came out? It was from the guy who started Final Fantasy.
You're on about the 360, not the original.
Possibly, yeah, that's right. Lost Odyssey, wasn't it?
Yeah, so Lost Odyssey and Blue Dragon. So they released Blue Dragon first.
The one I'm thinking of. Yeah,
and it was Mistwalker Studios. And that game was great.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed that game. I thought it was great, but nothing compared to Lost Odyssey, which is still blows my mind how it didn't get the respect it deserves. Because it's such a great title. Like, the battle system in it is insane. The story is phenomenal. The graphics look beautiful. Everything's so fluid about it. It's just a stunning RPG. And it got nowhere.
No.
I don't understand it.
But the point is, they've tried this, and Japan just aren't interested.
No.
They just you go into a video game shop, and they will have a tiny little section for Xbox, and then the rest of it is literally Nintendo and Sony taking up the entire shop. No one buys Xbox, yet they keep trying to bring some of these Japanese titles over. Even ones that I mean, Dragon Quest obviously is a little bit less niche. It's becoming quite a bit bigger over here now, but it's
to say on Netflix and stuff now. You've actually got the CGI films. There's going to be a live action film coming out on Netflix as well for Dragon Quest.
All right.
That's on there. But the thing is now is that there's so many console players that are buying consoles now for RPGs, especially over here. Like this weird people like on the forums and stuff going like, I really need to get myself a PlayStation 4. Like fucking XRPGs, Final Fantasy 7 remake, Shenmue 3, like that sort of stuff.
If you like JRPG, any weird Japanese games, get yourself a Vita. It's crazy,
how many good games on there?
Yeah, because that's all that's been released for the last maybe 3 years. I know they've maybe stopped releasing stuff now, but the last few years, developers stopped making games for them because it didn't sell very well over here. But in Japan, it really did. So there's still been loads of weird Japanese games, or weird by our standards, Japanese games coming out, and that's all they release over here, just to sort of have something coming out. So that's all I've seen for the last few years. Is
it wrong? I'd kind of forgotten about the Vita.
No, not at all.
Which one came first? Was it the Vita or was it the PSP Go?
PSP and then PSP Go and then the Vita.
God, I didn't realize they went with that many.
Well, the Go was just the PSP, but without a disc thing. It was the first discless console. It was just a hard disk, so you downloaded all your stuff. But the only thing that I hear about the Xbox presentation and just about Xbox generally is that they're not chasing after the same sort of thing as Sony. They're like, we're not competing with Sony anymore. This is the new normal, and that's Game Pass. Everything seems to be going on to Game Pass. To the point where they've discontinued Xbox Live annual memberships now because they just want people to buy Game Pass. Yeah,
and it's such a imagine being able to just play all those games. The downside with this, though, is the same as with the PlayStation Plus and stuff, is that you get all these amazing games, but because you get them all, you never know which one you're going to start with. So you're just like, you know what, sod it. In effect, it's free because you're paying for the service. So it's like, the games are just there. It's a nicety sort of thing. So I prefer to put a disc in and play something I paid for. Or if it's something that I know I've just got on my hard drive because I'm using it for something, and I won't give it the effort I need.
Well, this is exactly the situation I'm in, Reg, because you gave me your PlayStation to use, which has, almost every decent game that came out in the last couple of years. I'm just like, right, what next? Just finished The Last of Us. What do I start next?
What are you going to start next? I'm excited. Saints and Sinners.
Jedi Fallen Order, maybe.
But definitely try Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners.
Oh, I will
you
do,
get stuck
actually.
into it.
Yeah, I need to try that. Yeah, you're right. You are right.
Even if you just have a quick blast for half an hour and then go into Fallen Order, which is awesome.
Yeah.
You need to do it because it's so good. So good. Again, I can't believe that was just a stealth release as well, because that's such a great title.
What, Fallen? Oh, the Walking Dead.
The Walking Dead one, yeah. Weird.
Yeah, nothing really came of it, did it?
No, very bizarre. Especially when it was, like I said, it's probably one of the best VR titles out there. Yeah.
But out of what the sort of the 9 or 10 titles they showed on this Xbox thing, are they all, or was it most of them are going to be on Game Pass?
Every single one is on Game Pass. That was their like, hey, yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
Insane. It's like, yeah, just, I mean, PlayStation Plus to get 2 or 3 games free a month always sounded like great value. But
I remember that.
Mm.
Well, it's tricky, isn't it? Like, I think that I have a similar setup with a friend of mine, and I have access to a lot of his Xbox games. He doesn't get the best end of the deal because I don't really buy a lot of games, which I apologize for.
My friend.
Yeah, Tom, if you're listening, I apologize. I will buy new games, I promise. And I think the tricky thing is with those kind of like Game Pass and well, even PlayStation Plus, like what games are you going to play? Like, are you going to play the same games? Are you going to play a mix? Because you've got so many to choose from that it's quite hard to really get your money's worth unless you're playing a lot, and then you can can vary between the games because there's so much choice.
It's like, do you remember before it became Amazon Prime? Remember Love Film?
Oh yeah.
Okay, like you would pay X amount a month, and they would send you up to like maybe 2 discs at a time, 2 DVDs. So they would physically send you DVDs. This was well before streaming. And it was like you can have as many as you like in the month, and it's like $6.99, and that sounds like great value. Yet they send you these 2 discs. They won't send you any more until they get yours back. So you have to post yours back, and then they'll send you another disc. So you would end up having 2 discs sat at your home for about 3 weeks. You go, I really need to watch that film, I'm not in the mood for it, but I'm not going to get anything else until I watch it. It was like, what you have to pick one and be pretty certain that's what you want to play before you can move on to the next. So yes, you own all these things, but you got to decide, right, which one am I going to sacrifice the space on my hard disk to get now? Yeah,
especially when they're all so big as well. They're all going to be absolutely insanely huge.
Yeah, and you're going to get a terabyte on the Series X, aren't you? But then you can buy those little expandable SSD like proprietary cards that can slot in.
Yeah, it's all well and good having a terabyte of storage, but a lot of the games now are like pushing 100 gig or more. So it's you start thinking about that, and I know I'm talking about I only play like 2 games, but you think about if you can fit maximum 10 games on your console, you have something like Game Pass or anything else with access to hundreds of games. It's quite like, well, yeah, you don't have to put it all somewhere, but I don't know.
Yeah, you get to the point though where something like Stadia starts to make sense. Once everyone gets broadband that doesn't die every 5 minutes, that sort of thing surely is the future. No installation, it's just like, right, let's load it up. In extreme poor quality, it's as good as a high-end PC because it's just the quality of, if it can stream 4K, you can play in 4K.
Yeah, and I would love that, to be fair. I think that would be awesome. But again, I'm the person that misses physical.
100%.
And that's why when you get the choice of which one you're going to go with, you're going to go for the disc-based one or the discless ones with the next gen. Definitely disc-based. Definitely disc-based.
I see. I'm the opposite. I don't like physical media. If I can avoid discs or anything else, I'm that guy. But I suppose I know. What's the have they released pricing for the Series X? Because I haven't checked.
No, none of the next gen consoles have had pricing yet, other than the rumors.
Yeah, it's interesting, but I think they're both going to come out around about $450 to $5.
Yeah,
I reckon. I can't see PlayStation fucking up again and saying, "Hey, here it is for like $599," because they're just like, especially Sony, they will make their money back in games. That's how they do it. So they release the console at a loss and then make it up with their first party exclusives, and they make fucking incredible exclusives. So that's a given. So I reckon about $450 to $500. $500 probably for the PS5.
Yeah,
and maybe $450 for the discless one.
Exactly, because it's not really that much difference to put a Blu-ray drive in a machine.
No. But I'm a sucker for it, so you know I'm going to get it.
I think that's what I was thinking about. Like, I think we spoke about this. It was like the idea of a new console. Like, I got the Series X, not the Series X. Sorry, I got the One X. Like, I don't know, a year and a half ago or something. I guess it must be that long ago now. When Red Dead Redemption 2 kind of was new, and like I've got a 4K TV. The One X does 4K output. It looks great. The Series X, yeah, okay, new games that come out are definitely going to look even better still because of the engine, whatever else. But I'm like, when am I gonna see the benefit of that new gen console? You know, don't know. So I'm still kind of on the fence because if you ask Lou, she'll tell you that I'm never getting that console in my life. You ask me, I'm like, maybe one day. I'm not sure. And it's weird. Just it's like I don't know. I can't see what the benefit would be unless they have something which is like standout. Oh my god, that's an amazing exclusive or whatever. But I've not really been swayed by exclusives previously, so I don't know.
It was weird. I went with the original Xbox because they released Shenmue 2X, which had like uncut bits from Shenmue 2 in it, which I was like, I need to go on that. So that's why I bought my original Xbox, which is like crazy. I don't regret it. Like, I fucking loved my original Xbox. It was the least portable console I'd ever owned in my life.
It was a chunky boy, wasn't it? It was a chunky boy, the Xbox.
Yeah, like, you could murder someone just by throwing the pad at him. Like,
wasn't it called the Duke? Wasn't the pad called the Duke? Yeah.
And it's also the best gaming pad anyone has ever released.
I hated it. I was so glad when they released the controller.
You've got tiny hands. I've got massive hands. Like, and it just fitted in my palms.
All right, Mr.
nicely.
Bragger.
It was beautiful. So it's just like I enjoyed it so much, and then trying to get my head around a PS4 like 3.2 controller. I was like, what? My hands, this doesn't make sense. It was just weird, but I miss that, and I miss also filling up my hard drive with CDs instead of games. Because that's all I did with the Xbox. You could import your own CDs.
I enjoyed
and then play Project Gotham with your own playlist. And the amount of days me and Dave literally just imported CDs instead of playing games. Go around after school or like work and literally just start importing games importing CDs onto that while we were playing WoW or something. And then just be like, all right, okay, right, that's done. Move on to the next one. Right, okay, cool. And then after about a month of owning my Xbox, we finally booted up a game.
Simpler times, man. Simpler times.
I know. Now it just takes people a month to download the title instead because they're that fucking big. But hey ho, you're in it. Moving away from gaming completely. Have you seen on Twitter today that they've just teased the spin-off series for The Witcher on Netflix?
What?
All right, well, no.
Yeah. So I was on it before, and like it just all blew up massively. I was dicking around on it. So it's called, I think it's Blood Origin. I think. Let me have a quick look. Yeah. So Blood Origin. So announcing The Witcher Blood Origin, a 6-part live-action The Witcher spin-off series from the guys who brought you The Witcher. And it was like 1,200 years before Geralt of Riviera, the world of monsters, men, and elves merged into one, and the first Witcher came to be. And that was it. That's all they've said. They haven't announced anything else on it yet, but they've now teased that, so we don't know when it's coming, what's going on, or anything. But apparently this Witcher 2 Season 2 is hopefully going to come out for it, because they start filming it again now, and it's all good.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. It sounds good and all, but just give me Season 2 of The Witcher. Like, that's what I want. I don't want to go 1,200 years before Geralt of Rivia. I want more Geralt of Rivia. That's what I want. You give me these great characters, and you give me a nice little cliffhanger ending, and then you go, oh, we're going to do another series. No. Give me more Geralt of Rivia. Come on, production team. Come on, Netflix. I didn't go, ooh, isn't The Witcher amazing? Ooh, I'll listen to the soundtrack for 9 days straight, just so you can give me a spin-off series. I'm not saying toss a coin to your Witcher so you can then go 1,000 years before Jaskier was even born. What the hell kind of bullshit is that? I can't sing toss a coin to you. There's no Witchers. You're talking about the first Witcher being born. Who am I tossing a coin to?
Although, so you've got an Oculus Quest with Beat Saber. That have you been playing the toss a coin on
I
Beat Saber?
haven't added to it. I haven't.
Really?
Added to it.
Yeah.
Have they added
It's
it
great.
officially yet, or do you still have to sideload it?
No, you still got to sideload it.
Oh, come on, man! Add it officially.
But someone has now. So on the PSVR, Dan, you need to get onto this as well for me. You need to download Dreams onto my PlayStation because they've now given you free VR support. So everyone's making the games. All you need to do is, if you've made a game on Dreams, is literally go into your options on your editor and hit a button to say turn VR. And then the game somehow manages to go and turn it into a VR title.
Oh, wow.
Which is just
great
awesome.
Sound effects.
And so now you've got Dreams in VR as well to play. So you've got another 1,000 games in one.
Yeah. So
just in case you were short of what you wanted to play on the hard drive, Dan, there's that now as well.
Sounds good.
Which is great. Which is a shame because I really want to play The Last of Us 2 and I really want to play Ghost of Tsushima, but there's that much stuff for you to get through. I'm like, I might be able to play them in 2024.
No, I've come to the realization that I there's maybe one or two games left that I really like. Right, I'll play these, and then he's going to have it back because I've still got stuff on my own PlayStation that I need to play. Still need to play all of the Uncharted games.
Yeah,
at some point.
Yeah, I was going to say at some point they are great, but if you got bored, we went through this last week. If you got bored of The Last of Us 2 gameplay, you would get very much bored of the
well, it's just, and I hate to for the last two, 3 episodes, I've sort of gone, I was disappointed by The Last of Us 2. And while I wasn't entirely, it was still a pretty impressive game. By the end of it, I did feel like, what was the point of that?
All right.
Because the first one, we talked about this a lot. We didn't really want a sequel. The first one wraps up this story so beautifully and gives you this sort of, really dark ending, but it's an ending. And then they went and picked it up and went, oh, well, let's just do more. Let's show what happens after this. And it was unnecessary.
Money, Dan, because they're doing a third one, aren't they? Well, apparently.
I can't see how. I genuinely can't see how.
I thought they've left it open for a cliffhanger with the this is how they're doing it.
I didn't see it as a cliffhanger. I saw it as a really depressing ending that made the whole journey a little bit pointless, apart from like, oh well, I guess these people have learned a lesson somewhere. It was just, I don't know. It was a bit odd.
All right.
But I don't know if they can get a story for a second one. I'm sure they can get a story for a third one. I would just have rather them gone, right, we've got this basis for this game. Now let's just make another game, same engine, same sort of gameplay, but a totally different story, or a totally different story with different characters in that world. But
so it's a bit like the Snyder cut of Justice League then, because he doesn't want anything to do with the Joss Whedon footage in the Snyder cut. Apparently, if there's a single frame of that one, he's going to burn it.
Okay.
So no one can see it.
Wow.
It was like, they did the Comic-Con. It's like literally in San Diego.
Yeah, the virtual Comic-Con.
Yeah. His panel was basically that, just having a massive pop at at that version of it.
Okay.
He was saying that he would much prefer the whole world to be set on fire than have to put a single frame of the Joss Whedon cut in his film.
Wow.
I was like, right. Okay, that's interesting.
I just don't understand what everyone thinks they're going to get from a Zack Snyder cut. Like, he isn't this. Everyone has built him up to be this, like, in the same way that people built up George Lucas after the sequels came out.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, Zack Snyder's amazing. No, he's not. He just takes everything and makes it slow motion. That doesn't make it good. That just makes it slower. So why do we assume that he's this amazing messiah? I mean, don't get me wrong. Joss Whedon, sadly, has gotten cancelled because it turns out he's a massive dickhead. But at the same time, we don't need to undo everything he's done, nor should Zack Snyder think that's a good idea. So,
yeah, I don't know. I think I think it's because of his Joss Whedon's outlook of what the Justice League was compared to his vision of what it was. He was just like, yeah, I don't want that, because Joss Whedon was saying how it wasn't anything to do with the DCU timeline and how it was all separate from that. And Zack Snyder was like, well, no, this is the fucking life, the love of the DCEU timeline, and this is what it should be, and blah, blah, blah. And there's just a huge thing. But yeah, to have a look at, so Schneider empathetically said he would literally blow the fucking whole thing up before using any of Whedon's footage, stating too that the theatrical version from the 2017, which Whedon oversaw the extensive reshoots on, was a separate from the DCEU timeline version. There would be no chance on earth that I would use a shot from after I left that movie. I'd much prefer to destroy the movie, set it on fire before I use a single frame that I did not photograph. That's a fucking hard fact. Those his exact words. And then he was like, have a look at Superman in the black suit.
I just no. I still sit with my idea of just I mean, like, Zack Snyder. Why? Like, why do we care about?
I think it's purely because everyone's so disappointed with it.
Yes,
that they're like,
that's it.
We just want it to be good. We're holding on to the hope that this version was going to be something great. But yeah, it's not like Joss Whedon made an entirely different movie. He just, he sort of altered the last quarter of it from what I've heard. So I can't see it being that much different.
No. It's going to be interesting, but at the same time, I don't know if I want to sit through it because I fucking hated the original one. So, there is that. I'll wait for you to watch it, Dan, and then you could be like, actually, it's either good or it's just awful. And I'm like, right, cool. I'll either watch it or not.
Well, what is our version of HBO Go? What is getting all this stuff that HBO Go is getting in the States? Because there's so much DC stuff. All the DC Universe stuff has gone over to HBO Go now, isn't it? Like Harley Quinn and Doom Patrol and stuff.
Is it Prime?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know whether it's gone over in its entirety or whether HBO Go will become another worldwide streaming service where they'll have a deal with someone.
Someone help me out here. You mentioned it, Dan. Help me out with Doom Patrol, because I read the premise of it and I confessed to it not having watched it, but the trailers for it keep coming up in my timeline, and every trailer I see for it makes me go, I don't want to watch that. Like every trailer just showcases it as it's trying to tell a joke that doesn't land. Like, right. And I've seen like 5 or 6 different trailers for the show, and every single one of them, I'm like, they're playing that's a big joke, but that's not funny. Like, are they trying to be funny? Like, what is this?
It is supposed to have an edge of humor to it. I've not watched it yet, but two things I know about it. One, I hear an awful lot of good things about it to start with, and two, it was they did like a backdoor pilot in Titans, yeah.
Of course they did.
There was like 2 or 3 episodes of that where they introduced the Doom Patrol, and those episodes were great. The characters are great. The casting's really good, and it does look interesting. But it definitely looks like it almost looks a bit. The trailers I've seen, it looks sort of Umbrella Academy-ish. It looks like it's I don't know, just as an ensemble cast, and it's got a little bit of humor to it, but also very, very, very weird. Like, I've not read any of the Doom Patrol comics either, but apparently there is a sentient street in it, in the comics. So this street communicates to you through like flashing lights and names of shops and stuff like that, and that's in it. And apparently it's done really, really well, to the point where you actually come to know like the name of this street, and you really like it as a character, even though it never utters a word. But it's as big a part of the show as some of the others. So it sounds very weird and a bit meta, but it's supposed to be very good.
Fair enough. Yeah, it just seems. Yeah. I just feel like whenever I've seen bits of it, I'm like, I can see what they're trying to do here, but I just don't like it. Like, it doesn't seem funny. No. But hey, maybe it's not for me.
No, well, the problem is for us over here, it's on Amazon Prime, but on one of those Amazon Prime channels. So it's like, here, pay us for Amazon Prime. Okay, but now you also need to pay us if you want to watch the 12 shows that are also on this channel, which is it Stars or something like that?
Yeah.
Stars, yeah.
Yeah, it's just don't know. Seems a little bit odd.
Yeah, it's a shame because Titans is great, and it's on Netflix, and I don't understand why Doom Patrol isn't on Netflix.
No,
when Titans is season 1 and 2.
I need to watch season 2. Actually, season 1 was great. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, which is weird because people are only thankful for season 1 of Titans due to it bringing out Doom Patrol.
Right.
And I really enjoyed Titans. It was one that I watched again with no sound, whereas Ash understood it all. And she really enjoyed it. It's one of those that she wasn't bothered with the first couple of episodes. She was like playing around on her phone or whatnot in bed. But then it was one of those, I was like, right, what do you want to watch? And she was like, put your Titans on. It's like, and she's like, no, stick it on. I was like, right, okay, you want to watch it then. And then, yeah, we both watched it and she really enjoyed it. So I was like, oh, season 2's out now. She's like, oh, we'll have to watch that at some point. And then we've yet to do so. So hopefully at some point we will get around to it. But Umbrella Academy comes out tomorrow, is it?
31st, isn't it? I think.
Is it the 31st? I thought it was the 28th, sorry. Is it the 31st?
It might be. I thought it was the end of the month. But either way, by the time this comes out, it'll either be out or the next day. So, yeah.
I did love the first season of that show.
That's great.
And again, I've not read any of the graphic novels, but I really enjoyed the show. So here's hoping for series 2.
Yeah. Well, definitely worth reading because they're equally as weird, but in the same way as sort of the Walking Dead TV series, veers off in places but keeps overlapping. It's different enough to enjoy reading as it is. And there's only like, 20 issues, something like that, 18 issues, three different stories, so really quick to get through.
Nice.
Yeah, 31st, you are right, Dan. So, but even though you said anyway, by the time this comes out, it'll be out to watch anyway, but that's it, 31st of July. So we've got 2 more seasons to get through of Working Mums, and then you can watch Umbrella Academy. Which me and Dave were talking about it before pod. So I actually started watching a series on Netflix called Working Mums. There's like 4 seasons of it, and it's fucking brilliant. It is hilarious, and it's just all sorts of just ace. Sorry?
Is it hilarious?
I don't know. Ash was like, is it just hilarious because you're a parent? And it possibly, you can relate to it a lot more, I suppose, when you are a parent, but it's just, they've done it really well. I'm sure the people who made it have done another show previously, but it's just, it's really, really funny. If you've got the ability to watch it, seriously, just give it a shot. I came in halfway through season 1. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be bothered with this because it just looks like here's woman power in a TV show. It's like, look, we've got kids, we can work, we can take over the world, blah 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 blah. But it's not. It's just genuinely such a funny show. So I was like, nice. And apparently it's just been renewed for season 5 according to the Tinty Webs. So there you go. That's Reg's recommendation before we leave: is watch that and buy Shenmue 4.
Oh, Shenmue. You owe Reg so much.
You do. I've been on the Sega shop website for such a long time because the Shenmue hoodie is there. And I'm like, it's back out again now. And you go to put it in large and it keeps on going out of stock. But it's like, it's there teasing me, the official Shenmue hoodie. Its glory. And I keep getting notifications going, hey, it's back in stock. I'm like, amazing. If you're a double XL. but I'm not. I know I've put on a bit of weight.
One way to fix that, Reg.
But I'm really not.
Present for the big boys out there.
I was going to say, I don't want to be fat. It's medium. Like, if there's six items in stock of it being medium, Dan. So you can fit into that.
That.
Do me a favour.
No, medium I thought you were all right with.
I used to be before lockdown.
Oh, okay.
Oh, how things change.
Yeah, Reg needs to get back to the gym again because I've been indulging in beef jerky lots.
Specifically beef jerky, I like it.
I've got a bit of an obsession going through it at the minute. And do you know what the worst thing is? It's not even a fucking cheap obsession. Like I got Mike into it in work, and he was like, Reg, have you seen all these different varieties of beef jerky? And I was like, no. He's like, look at this teriyaki beef jerky. Here's biltong, which is like, the posh variation of it. So here's the pepperoni one. Here's like a honey and chipotle one. Here's this version. And he's got like 7 different packets of beef jerky in his hand, right? And it's like £3.29 for a pack of this branded beef jerky. And he's got 7 packs of it in his hand to try it. And you get about 6 pieces in each one. And I'm like, wow. Like, I apologise because of me every time we went to have a chat. I'm like, sorry, mate, I didn't realise you were calling me. Just munching beef jerky. Just give me 1 second. He's like, oh, what one? So we start talking about beef jerky. He's like, I'm going to have to go out and buy some. And then he's been addicted to it like me. So I'm like, sorry about that, mate. But yeah, I've been eating a lot of it. So it's affected my weight distribution levels.
Weight distribution levels.
Yeah, it's now gone from everywhere just to my gut. So now that the gyms have reopened again and you're allowed to go, I'm going to sign back up again and get back my father figure instead of my dad bod.
Nothing wrong with a solid dad bod, Reg.
Father figure, I like that. I've never heard that.
Yeah, that's what I'm going with.
Nice.
No, I've embraced my dad bod, but I've embraced it that much now where like there's certain t-shirts that used to fit me that don't now, that I'm like, I like this too much to chuck it away, or I like it too much for Ash to be able to wear it as a nightie, so I'm going to lose some weight so I can go back into it again. Because I know that if I do ever eventually get this fucking Shenmue 3 t-shirt, it won't be a large like I asked for. You know it's going to be a medium or a fucking small.
Imagine.
Yeah. They'll be like, oh, it's finally arriving. Oh, by the way, it's a 3X.
Yeah. It's like, oh, sorry, we made that mistake. Can you send it back and we'll resend you a medium? I'm like, no. No, because I won't ever get it. I just won't. It's Steve's cup date, but in my Shenmue t-shirt form.
I'm not making a theme song, all right?
Oh, but you've got nothing else to do, Dan.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, dear. But no, seriously, please. That'd be nice. It's like, I'll even do it for you. Where's my fucking t-shirt? There you go. That's all it needs.
Done. I like it. All right.
Awesome.
Cool.
Right.
And on that bombshell.
Oh, it's time.
It's been a good time.
It just feels like we just got started. But I think, if we...
it's because we missed on Wednesday.
Because we didn't deviate away from the original topic in the first place, Dave.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm always on topic.
Yes, it was me. I'm sorry. Oh, also, you know what is upsetting? Just before quickly we do go down, I got the official confirmation that the Bare Naked Ladies gig is now happening next October.
Next year, yeah.
Yeah, not just next year, but the end of fucking next year.
Well, it was postponed to this October, wasn't it? And then they actually went, how about next October instead?
And it's one of those weird ones, isn't it? Because like you buy band gigs, it's like so far and about sometimes same comedians, and you're like, I don't know if I'm going to be into it at that time, or like,
that's it.
Interest. Like I know the ladies, I 100% will be, but it's just weird how they're like, yeah, fuck it, let's do it for next October. Like by then, this entire set list they're going to be playing now will be something different because they would have released their new album by then because they're already recording it.
Bare Naked Ladies want no part of the Rona.
No, absolutely.
They don't.
How I miss gigs.
Yeah.
Very so.
I don't miss people though, but never mind.
No,
Live music and events, yes. People, nah.
Yeah, I have been watching a lot of live vids while I've been working. I watched the Stephen Lynch comedy last tour that they did when he did the Lion t-shirt, did the Lion gig, and it's so good still. But again, it's weird hearing people like laughing and applauding through the tunes going. I'm like, I've not been to a gig in such a long time. Like I miss that. I want to be part of that again.
I'm just not into these online gigs either.
No, like I tried so hard with the Steve Page ones just because it's Steve Page, but it's like you miss the atmosphere and the acoustics and just the being there, and then seeing him and not knowing what to talk about because you're that nervous and excited at the same time. You just can't go, I love you, hi.
I suppose once you've seen one, I know we mix it up with the set list, but it can only vary that much, can't it?
Yeah. Yeah, to be fair, he does have like a couple of staples, but like everything else is different. But you're right. There's like you've watched one at home gig. It's literally the same, isn't it? But it's hard because obviously they still want to give the fans stuff. Like I'm annoyed with the fact that the Bare Naked Ladies do. Hey, here's like 3 free songs a week, or whatever, and then Steve Page was like, "Hey, I'll do a full set, but it's going to charge you 15 quid for it." Like, I know it's half the price of what we would pay to see you live in person, but that's still charging us to hear you sing songs at home when you're bored with nothing else to do. That's the difference. The ladies and Frank Turner and stuff would just do songs for gigs for free.
Yeah.
Online. Whereas Page's management's gone, fucking charge him. I don't want to charge him.
No, okay. I don't know. I've not paid to watch any of these, and I wouldn't, but I get this. He's doing this once a week. He's got a regular thing going on. And it's not that much, is it? Is it $10 or something like that?
It's 10 English pounds for me to watch.
£10. So I think it's pretty reasonable for what it is. But there's a lot of Japanese acts and Korean acts that have been doing, like all their shows have been cancelled. So they've done these big live productions, and they'll charge £35 to watch. Just to watch an online concert.
Wow.
Which just seems insane.
Yep.
Mm. But like you say, Frank Turner did one every week or two, didn't he? And then Boothby's been doing it every few weeks. He's done a show.
Yeah, he's not charging now, though.
Yeah, well, his was pay what you want, wasn't it? It's like, it's a free show, but give me some money if you'd like to. So appreciate that, That's what we should do. We'll do it live. Let people listen into our Skype calls, and throw us some beans if they like.
Yeah, but I don't know why we don't Zoom it, because then at least we know we'll have to stay on topic because we've got a time limit of how long people can watch us for.
There you go. Exactly.
Oh, Reg, we would never stay on target.
No. But then people pay money so we can afford the actual professional version, and then we can stay on for longer than now. So it'd be good. There you go. That's our business model. Let's do it.
Okay, he's got it.
Cool.
I knew you were good for something, Reg.
I'm all good for novel ideas and wasting people's times.
Perfect. Speaking of which, we're at 1 hour and a quarter.
Cool. Well, I hope you wrote down something, if anything has been useful for the beginning.
Oh, wait, I was supposed to do that, wasn't it? Oh.
Dave, say something funny.
Oh God. What's funny? What do the kids think are funny these days? Isn't that TikTok fun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
I came off TikTok. I already give enough stuff to China as it stands.
It's true.
Yeah,
Right.
I've just never got it. But you know what I have become obsessed with, though?
Yes, I do.
Dan knows, because I bombarded him in the space of 20 minutes of all my duplicates. Have you seen Duplicat, Dave?
No. Oh, yes, I have. I have seen that because Dottie wouldn't stop spamming us with videos of his face, which were genuinely terrifying because obviously that does mean that China owns your absolute, or Russia probably owns your likeness in every single way. But it was quite accurate, and it freaked me the fuck out when Dottie had it on everyone's faces. Just don't. Yeah, I feel unsettled by that app.
I did.
Very much so.
In the space of the 30 minutes that Reg sent me, like 12 different things of his face on goodness knows what.
Yeah. Oh, in fact, Dave, I've just sent you me as Commander Shepard. So enjoy that.
You know that will always get my interest, so well done.
I was like, what can I do to quickly just start Dave off on this tangent? And I've just sent him me as Commander Shepard. It's glorious. And so there you go, sir.
It's
weird as well.
Favorite app on the Citadel.
Oh my god, it actually looks really cool. That's creepy. That's how they should start doing it. Do you remember, like, when, this is probably for another pod, But do you remember like when NBA Live and stuff used to use the Xbox camera to scan your face and put it in
Oh
your game?
Jesus, yeah.
That's what we should be doing with this sort of technology. Like on the next GTA and stuff, is literally put your face in it. How are you doing it? I don't see why we can't. Like, we're just showing now how easy it is to put your face in stuff.
Mm.
then yes, that's what we should be doing.
You can do a thing like that on the 3DS. I know this is like old news, I'm sure, but I only just got one. But anyway, you have your Me, don't you, on all the Nintendo stuff? So you can create your own, or you can go, well, let me look at you with the camera, and I'll work out what you should look like. And it was terrible. Like my nose was higher than my eyebrows. It was just bizarre. So yeah, I deleted that.
Yeah, no, this has got a bit addicted. Like I sent Sean every single character from the Scott Pilgrim film because he was like, oh, "That's cool," and I was like, "I'm going to do all of them." He's like, "Please don't."
He just sent me Ramona, and that was bad enough.
Yeah, I literally went through every single cast member, and like I was like, "There's some missing," so I literally went through the IMDb to be like, who haven't I got? Just literally went through like loads of side characters, anyone that was in GIF form. I was like, you are having these GIFs of me as the Scott Pilgrim character. And then he just, in the end, stopped looking at them, and he's still not been back on it yet. I haven't got my kick yet to say.
He knows they're sat there waiting.
And it's glorious. But Dave, that's the last one I'm sending you as well. Just sending you another one of me as Commander Shepard.
I appreciate your contributions. Oh man, that is some freaky shit right there.
So brilliant. I did save them, so I might put them on the Nerd OD page.
That's good. I like it.
What did I say I was going to do last week that I meant to do and I forgot? There was something I was going to upload. I'll go and listen to last week's pod and do that.
It's fine. People are used to not seeing what we talk about.
I know.
Why change the habit of a lifetime?
Because we need to start doing that, Dan.
Right.
Not you, because obviously you do more than enough anyway.
So next you're going to tell me I need to start putting like links to everything in the description of the podcast.
I'm not that guy. Don't you dare tell me that you need to do work, because other people should be doing that stuff for you.
True, but
you have other members of this crew which aren't me that are tech savvy.
do
things. No, Reg, it sounded like you were volunteering there, Reg. I don't know. I just sounded like it was.
You're volunteering everyone else.
Yes, pretty much, because I don't know how to do anything. Maybe when I get my new laptop next month, and like you can virtually show me how to do stuff, I'll take on some responsibilities.
It's a lot riding on this new laptop. I'll be honest.
There is.
I have now that audio on record.
Because if I do get it, then I'm just going to be playing WoW all the time, so I can't even pod them. So I apologise. I won't, because I'll be playing as Frank Bunty in WoW, and it's glorious.
Yes. Frank Bunty in another fancy land. Anyway, yes, let's call it a night.
Yes.
Let's wrap this bad boy up.
Pleasure.
It has
Indeed,
been nice to have you back, sir, as well. Always nice. Maybe next week we might get all four.
Come on, Reg, don't be crazy. Don't be crazy. Too much quality in one place. Can't handle it.
The internet is not ready for this guy.
You know what? Next time we talk, I hopefully will have my Lego Super Mario set.
Whee!
Is that coming tomorrow?
On the 1st.
So, the next time we do a Nerd OD then?
Yeah. Not by the next time we do a Dungeons and Dragons podcast.
Alrighty, that's exciting.
Yeah, I am very.
Well, I might also have a new Hoover, but that's not anywhere near exciting.
Oh, Reg, don't tease us like that.
It's going to be a shock, hopefully. We'll see. So, all exciting stuff.
All right, we're talking about Hoovers now. We gotta go.
So I've been Dan.
I've been Dave.
And I've been Reg.
Thanks for listening.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.